Hey YouTube, this is Lead Snowleopard from TheAfterMathGaming, and today I'm going to show you guys my Transformers Dark of the Moon review. And Transformers Dark of the Moon is the second game made by High Moon Studios, the developers of last year's Transformers War for Cybertron, which was in my opinion one of the best games of last year. I loved War for Cybertron, and Dark of the Moon is the prequel to the new movie. And High Moon Studios said that this would be just as good as War for Cybertron. Like some people were like, oh, you only had a year to make it. And they said, oh no, we've been working on it longer. Like, we put in just as much time, it's going to be just as good. But the big question is, is it as good as War for Cybertron? And is it a good game in general as well? And the only significant changes are in the new Stealth Force mode and the multiplayer. The Stealth Force mode it's like an in-between mode between robot mode and vehicle mode. And in robot mode, you're just walking around. You have the most accuracy and control of your weapons, but in vehicle mode, you have no weapons, but you're so fast. Like, you can just zip around, and now, instead of having an actual weapon, which you used to in War for Cybertron, they did this really cool thing where if you just drive into someone, that does damage. And in War for Cybertron, only the leader class could do that. But now they've unlocked that for all classes, and you also have a boost, and you can also drift. So they really did the vehicle mode really well. It feels a lot better just driving around. It's a lot of a smoother experience. But in Stealth Force mode, it's an in-between. Even though you're a car, you're literally bristling with weaponry. And you have an increase in firepower, armor, and speed, but you lack the accuracy and the control of robot mode or just the sheer mobility of vehicle mode. But it gives you a definite advantage. It's a really enjoyable way to play the game at first in Stealth Force mode, but there's really no reason to play in robot mode. Because aside from abilities and long-range shooting, everything else you can do can be done in robot mode can either be done in Stealth Force mode, and you can also you can switch so quickly between Stealth Force and vehicle, but you can't switch that quickly between Stealth Force and robot. So the vehicle's really nice. The robot mode not as much, but I'll get into that later. I'm going to start with a single player. There's a nice variety in the missions. Mainly they consist of firefights, but stealth missions, protection missions, infiltration, races, and they do some other stuff. Those kind of provide a break in each mission. And the levels are tailored specifically to each character. Bumblebee, his level serves as this friendly, tutorial that gets you into the game. Ironhide, this level he has tons of things to blow up since he's a weapon master, so he gets to have fun with that. Mirage has a cloaking device, so he of course gets a level where he gets to cloak through it. Soundwave gets to use Laserbeak, who he carries around, so he gets to infiltrate with Laserbeak. Starscream has the only true flying level, and Megatron gets to use his evil abilities on waves of Autobots, and Optimus Prime gets overpowered weapons so that he can definitely save the day. So every mission is specifically done for each character, and it just feels really nice because you know what you're doing, and they put a lot of thought into each mission, the little things in each mission. Whereas in War for Cybertron, it was kind of a bigger picture. But because of this, you can't select a character for each mission, which was a really nice feature in War for Cybertron. You only get, Bumblebee's level is only for Bumblebee. You can't pick someone else. And that was one of the things I was looking forward to, was some of that character selection, and that's not there. But, that was at the cost of having every map tailored. There's only 7 levels though, so only 7 characters you get to play as. And even though they each have their own little unique parts, they start to feel the same, because you get ambushed so many times in each level. In every level, you always get ambushed, so they kind of get repetitive. And the maps themselves can get confusing if you get turned around, and there's one level that it's just painful. It's hard to get around, it's hard to figure out where you are because it all looks exactly the same. And it does have waypoints, you know, so you can see like, oh, 1,000 meters away there's a blue thing, that's where I need to go, but those don't come up all the time, and even when you know generically where you need to go, it would have helped to have, I think, like one of the little paths that you can get, like in Dungeon Siege 3 or Star Wars Force Unleashed 2, or like in the Fable series, you know, you always have that gold path just going straight to where you need to go. You can just follow it and you can get there. That would have been a really nice addition, but it's not there, so navigation of the maps in single player is kind of painful. But I mean, ultimately the single player is pretty good. It's shorter than I would have liked, but other than that, it's good. The multiplayer, it's average overall. But one of the best things I think that they added into multiplayer was you play actually as a character instead of just using their chassis. So in War for Cybertron, you know, you just had a chassis that looks like Optimus Prime, but you didn't have to use any of his weapons or his abilities. But in Dark of the Moon, if you pick Optimus Prime as your leader class, that's the abilities he get. He gets a primary ability and weapon unique to him. So Ironhide gets his autocannon and his grenade blossom that he uses in campaign. Optimus Prime, he gets his ion cannon and his shoulder-mounted rocket launcher. Everyone gets a specific primary weapon and ability that's specific to them, and so the campaign kind of helps you get into that. But then also you can still customize your perks and your secondary weapon and ability based on the class, and that gives you a lot more depth, because like if you have you know, if you have Warpath, he comes with a machine gun, so you don't really need the soldier's other machine gun. So you should probably pick like maybe a shotgun or a rocket launcher. You can do more customization within each class, and it kind of gives you more of a reason to stick with your favorites other than just, you know, oh, this chassis looks cool. You can actually kind of think about it in depth, which is a nice addition. And they also increased the number of power-ups on the map. Used to just be able to get an overshield, but now you can get an overshield, increased damage, and decreased ability cooldown. So those are all good. Those also add some variety, because gameplay will kind of center around those objects in just like deathmatch or team deathmatch. And in Conquest, it kind of gives people a path to attack, so it gives you a little bit more focus on the map instead of just wandering around. And the maps themselves, they're really well designed. They're really well balanced, but there could have been more. There's not a whole lot of maps, and it only has 3 game modes. But they are the most popular from War for Cybertron, so I think they were just kind of listening to fans on that one, because it's deathmatch, team deathmatch, and Conquest. So I mean, that's all you would really play in War for Cybertron as well, so I can't really argue about that. They were just kind of trimming that up, but it would have been nice if they had some other stuff as well. Leveling up is also way too easy. Each of the 4 classes can hit the level cap in under an hour. And Dark of the Moon doesn't even have Prime mode, which is similar to Prestige mode in COD, and it lets you play the multiplayer over again with added challenges. So that's not even there. It was there in War for Cybertron. It's not even there in Dark of the Moon. So it's not even like you hit the level cap and then you can do it again later. You hit the level cap and you're done. So that was... I don't know why they didn't put in Prime mode. I liked that in the last game. I thought it was a good addition, but for whatever reason they didn't put it in. So I don't really know what they're doing with that. Especially because, I mean, you can have everyone leveled up easily in under 2 hours. So I don't really know what they were thinking, reducing replayability in multiplayer, but that's what they decided to do. It also doesn't have escalation, which was another good mode in War for Cybertron. It was like a wave defense thing. I wish they had put that in there. It was also a really cool mode. That was one of the first things they got rid of actually when they were making this game. So I think they should have put that in, but it would have just been too much time to make it, I guess. So I mean, the multiplayer experience is good, but it's so short that it's not great. It's a nice contained experience, but it's an experience for like a weekend, you beat it in a day kind of thing. So that's not good for the mode, but I mean, it is still fun. So I mean, like, I still play it even though I pretty much hit the level cap and the classes that I use. So I don't really know. If you're one of those people that you just play it till you have a challenge, then that's not good. But if you just want to enjoy things, then it's great because you level up so fast. So it is refreshing not having just to level up the whole time. You just get to enjoy the actual game. So that is a good element of it. As for graphics, they're great. Especially in vehicle mode, the Transformers look great. The environments are also really nice. And there were a few like poor texture models and cutscenes. But other than that, there's no problem with the graphics. They're not a disfactoring decision at all. They're good, and that's all they really need to be. Same with sound. The sound effects and voice acting is flawless, and the soundtrack, they use it at just the right time, so they're not just blasting music at you repeatedly. They kind of vary it up, so that's also good. But as far as replayability goes, that's the one place where this game really failed. Because, I mean, the experiences are great. It's a great game to play, but it's so short that it just doesn't justify that full retail price. And the lack of prime mode and escalation means that you can easily beat this in a weekend. And even if you're like an achievement or a trophy hunter and you're really going to spend that time to get like 1,000 gamer score or that trophy, there's still not a lot to see or do. So that's the one place where it really failed. It's definitely worth a rental, because I mean, you can really play it through in a rental. So I mean, it's one of those things, if you see it at like a Blockbuster or something or a Redbox, go ahead, get it. Because I mean, play through it. It's a great game. It's just a short game, so it's not worth that full retail price. But if there's a price drop as well, I'd say look into it. And so to finish, Aftermath Gaming gives it a 7 out of 10. And it's a good game, and as far as movie games go, it's great, but compared to War for Cybertron, it's just not as good. And I know that High Moon Studios could have done some more stuff with it. So I think it's just a victim of the movie game genre, because they just rushed to get them out in time for the movie, or in this case, before the movie. So it's just kind of a victim of that kind of rush. So it's still a good game, though. It's just not as great as it could have been. So that's my review. Comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.